I think we have now stumbled across, or we're going to discuss today, what could destroy Trump's 2024 campaign. Which, when I say that, it could be anything, because Trump's caught up in all sorts of mayhem. Am I going to talk about one of his criminal investigations? Could be. That could take him down. For example, the case in Georgia, I think, is very damning and definitely could be an area where he's actually held accountable and the American people could be influenced by that. But that's not what I want to focus on today. And there are countless other examples. But what I want to zero in on now is the issue of abortion. And what I'm seeing develop between DeSantis and Trump in a possible 2024 primary, where they're going to have to compete by running to the right on the issue of abortion, because DeSantis is kind of drawing his line in the sand on that. He recently signed a 6-week abortion ban into law in the state of Florida. And that's going to cause both of them, whoever gets to the general, probably Trump, but whoever ends up getting to the general election and facing off against Biden, to be so clearly defined as the radical on the issue of abortion that regardless of many left of center, moderate, centrist, maybe some center right people's stance on Biden as a candidate, so many people will come out in support of abortion rights. We've walked through the specifics in the past as to why abortion has become and how abortion has become such a motivating issue for voters. And time and time again, we're seeing while lawmakers are successfully getting through these radical abortion laws in states across the country since the overturning of Roe v. Wade with the Dobbs decision, when people actually have a say, when it's on the ballot, when it's closely associated with a particular race and candidates, abortion rights prevails. Those who support abortion rights, that ends up prevailing. And so if DeSantis, and we'll get to some clips here in a second, makes that a defining issue, and then Trump will be scared that his base is going to be mad at him for being less radical compared to DeSantis on this, then he'll also run to the right, and it'll make them both not someone who can win the general election. So we saw this recently, where, and actually here, let me pull this up for you. So DeSantis got asked about the fact that Trump has kind of been a little murky on the issue of abortion recently, and I'll get to some examples of that. And DeSantis made clear that I'm the guy, is what he's trying to say. I'm the guy who is going to implement these extreme abortion laws.
Former President Donald Trump recently stated that many within the pro-life community or movement, they feel that your 6-week abortion ban is too harsh. What are your thoughts on that?
Protecting an unborn child when there's a detectable heartbeat is something that almost probably 99% of pro-lifers support. It's something that other states like Iowa under Governor Kim Reynolds have enacted. And I think that as a Florida resident, he didn't give an answer about would you have signed the heartbeat bill that Florida did, that had all the exceptions that people talk about. The legislature put it in. I signed the bill. I was proud to do it. He won't answer whether he would sign it or not.
Former President Donald.
So we rarely see criticisms from DeSantis in the direction of Trump that clear. He refused to answer the question on a 6-week abortion ban. If he would have supported that, if it came to his desk, and that is DeSantis clearly making the observation and calculation that the only way you're going to out Trump is to be more to the right of Trump for the Trump base, because you can't win in the GOP right now without winning over at least some of the Trump base. It's a majority of the Republican Party, and so you have to win over some of that population. And one of the ways you can do that is by winning over the pro-lifers. And so while he refuses to, we're going to get to later in today's show, be clear on some of these criticisms, he refuses to even clearly say, yes, Trump lost in 2020. He says there's a culture of losing. Obviously, that's what he's saying, but he won't explicitly say, yes, 2020, Trump lost as of now. And so in some of these areas, he's very, very weak with his criticisms. There, he made very clear, Trump refused to say it, I sign into law. Boom. And that's going to cause Trump to have to respond, and that's going to make it an issue in the primary, which is very good for the Democrats, because it's just clear polling wise, and again, results in these different situations we've talked about, elections and direct ballot initiatives, that America's not on board with the current GOP stance on abortion. Well, Trump responded to that criticism by DeSantis during an interview saying this.
Your response to his allegation on this, and I want to ask also, do you think that 6 weeks is going too far? Is that going to doom Republicans with the moderates in this country when it comes to 2024?
Well, Rob, first of all, I'm the one that got rid of Roe v. Wade, and everybody said that was an impossible thing to do. I put on 3 Supreme Court justices. Very few people have had that privilege or honor, and they are terrific people, and they happen to believe that Roe v. Wade should not be there. It's been now brought back to the states. And what I've done is I've given the pro-life people, who are wonderful people and loving people, I've given them the power of negotiation, because now they're able to negotiate something that's going to be very important.
Ask your response.
And that's always the answer. You might remember during the CNN town hall, he also got asked about this subject and said this.
Now they won't be able to do that.
But I think this is a really important question for you to answer, because this is something every Republican, including those who are running against you for the nomination, are being asked about, is would you sign a federal abortion ban into law?
And many of them are going to give you the same answer as I am. First of all, I am honored to have done what I did. And a lot of people said, in 150 years, he's now the most consequential president because he saved so many lives. And I'm honored to have done it. And because of what I've done, we now have a great negotiating ability. That's what I do in life. I negotiate. We have a great negotiating ability, and I think we're going to be able to get something done. What do you mean negotiating?
And then he never directly says if it came to his desk, would he sign some sort of national ban as president of the United States, whereas obviously DeSantis is very supportive of that because that's what he did in Florida. And it's because, similar to how Trump kind of recognizes that it's a very popular position for him to take, even among Republicans, to be very supportive of Medicare, Social Security. While a lot of Republicans want to cut those programs, he also proposed cuts when he was president, but he rhetorically will say he's very supportive of those programs, and he'll attack DeSantis on that a lot. I think it's a similar thing here, where he can kind of pick up on the fact that there's enough, even Republicans who are uncomfortable with some of the actions by the GOP when it comes to abortion law, abortion rights, and the laws associated with that, that he doesn't want to take a hard stance on it. He kind of recognizes that it could hurt his campaign so much. And also has to appeal to the pro-lifers. And so he actually, while he is almost always inaccurate, in this situation, he accurately assesses the fact that him being president is the reason that there were enough Supreme Court justices who were conservative enough to overturn Roe v. Wade. So he kind of can take credit for that, but doesn't want to be super clear on what he would do as president if he were to become president again, God forbid, in 2025. Then one other example of him getting asked about a national abortion ban.
We'll get something done where everyone is going to be very satisfied. I believe that.
On the national level and national level?
I think we'll get it done on some level. It could be on different levels, but we're going to get it done. I know the issue very well. I think I know the issue better than most, and we will get that taken care of.
What does that mean? Would you sign a national abortion ban into law? You know, we'll get something done on some level that everyone will be happy with. That could be your answer to anything. That's not an answer. How are you going to address rising healthcare costs? Well, we're going to do something, and it's going to be good, and it's going to make everyone happy. Does that mean universal healthcare? We'll get something done on some level that everyone will be happy with. That'll be the best option. That's my campaign. I do the best things that make everyone happy. So really, really big that it's kind of DeSantis causing it, but also Trump getting asked about it. But because DeSantis is thinking, all right, I'm gonna try to out anti-woke Trump with the Disney stuff and all that nonsense. I'm going to try to appeal sort of maybe to the moderate Republicans by being a little bit more of a traditional politician in the way that I present myself. Even though I'm radical, I'm going to present myself kind of a little bit more traditional, and maybe less of the unhinged social media messages or posts, and I'll get them that way. And then, okay, the Trump base, how do I appeal to them? This 6-week abortion ban is one of the ways that you do that. And then he can attack Trump on that. But if that becomes the battleground, Trump is going to have to go, eventually he's going to keep getting asked, and he's going to have to go, yeah, I would sign some sort of abortion ban into law. And as that is a reminder for the American people of where these individuals stand, and then whoever prevails in the general election will be significantly hurt by that. And because Trump is the person that I expect to win the primary, as I always say, it's super unfortunate, disturbing, but Trump still controls, in my analysis, in my view, the Republican Party still has enough control over it to win the primary. Something could change, but that seems to be the case. So if he becomes the nominee, this has been an issue that a bunch of people have been observing in the Republican primary, and America at large is aware of that. I think it's going to be such a motivator, along with the threat to democracy, along with hopefully improving economic conditions and Biden policy and stuff like that. But this will be a huge motivator for people, as I said, regardless, because of his bad poll numbers, of how they feel about Joe Biden, to go out to the polls and show up for Joe Biden against the GOP. And that could be one of the things that destroys Trump's 2024 shot.